Evening all. Okay, so I basically want to come on and just say it's okay if you're craving really weird stuff. And it's also okay if your diet is completely unbalanced. It's okay. It's absolutely the most normal and natural thing in the world that in recovery, your body is not asking for balance. And by balance, I mean, what does it even mean? You know, everyone is unique. Everybody knows what it needs. Everybody's body has its own balance, technically. So, you know, we could dive into that, and that's a whole thing in itself. But you know what I'm saying. In recovery, it is very normal for your diet to become particularly unbalanced. I basically ate nothing but biscuits and chocolate. I would say 90% of what I ate was cakes, desserts, chocolate, biscuits. And then the other percent would have been like pizza, McDonald's, crisps and bread. And yeah, it fluctuated. Sometimes I went through weird phases of craving certain things. Sometimes I was really into savoury, sometimes really into sweet. Most of the time I just sort of fluctuated throughout the day between savoury and sweet. But the general trend was that my body asked for the complete opposite of balance. And I don't mean, again, society. I don't mean society's version of balance. I mean, actually, you know, when I look back to myself before my eating disorder, I kind of just wanted all stuff. You know, I liked sweet stuff, I liked desserts, I liked home cooked meals, I liked going out for pizza, I liked, you know, big bowls of granola, I liked scrambled eggs on toast, I liked all stuff. However, when I was in recovery, that wasn't the case for a while. For a while. Oh, look, she's so cute. She's so cute. Um, and utterly distracting. How can anyone get anything done? Look at her. She's just looking down, and it's cute. Also, her face, her eyes are so intense. I love it. I really love it. Nora? Mm-hmm. She's like, leave me alone. Anyway, I don't understand how anyone gets anything done when they have baby animals in the house because they're so cute that I just get completely distracted and derailed very often. I'm like, oh, I need to get this job done. And then suddenly I'm like, oh, look at that cute. They're playing. How sweet. And then half an hour later, I'm like, oh, where did the time go? But yeah, I basically just want to say it's completely normal. Like in recovery, not only did I not have balance, and by that, again, I think I was saying, I don't mean society's version of balance. I mean, you know, your body's actual own balance. Like I had a real tendency towards things that were high energy dense and hyper palatable, you know, and a lot of that was biscuits and chocolates. And I remember thinking, there's never going to be a time where I don't just want to eat nothing but biscuits and chocolate. And the idea of vegetables is just going to be horrific forever. And I'm just never going to want home cooked meals again. And I'm just going to always want to eat biscuits and biscuits and biscuits. And that was my fear. And it was a genuine fear at the time. But, oh gosh, she's so cute. But by going through it, I got through it. And by trusting my body and honouring that hunger and by eating and really seriously eating what my body was actually asking for, I came out the other side. And my body very naturally, it took time, can't rush these things, it took time, but my body very naturally and organically started to sort of shift back into some kind of balance. And now I eat all things. Yeah, I absolutely love biscuits, but are they 90% of my intake? No. And is that a conscious thing? No, that's just genuinely what my body asks for. But the key thing from this is it's normal to not be balanced in terms of your intake in recovery. And it's also normal to crave really weird things. Go with it. You know, I think one of the biggest faults of some approaches to recovery from, say, treatment teams and things can be a kind of an undercurrent of distrust around what your body's asking for, you know, and almost, even if maybe not saying it, or maybe sometimes they are, but there can sometimes be, as I say, this undercurrent of distrust on what your body's asking for. And kind of like, I know I had comments along the lines of like, oh, you know, don't you think you should be eating a bit more sort of fruit and veg? And it's like, no, Not really. Don't really want those right now. I just want Cadbury's and Fox's biscuits. That's what I want, actually. Thanks. But I think what I'm trying to say is I think it's really damaging because it creates this undertone of distrust of your body. And the key thing that you are doing in recovery is trusting your body and letting it do the work that it is brilliantly designed to do and that it is desperate to do, and trusting your intuition to listen to what your body's asking for and giving it without judgment, without condition. Unconditional permission to eat without restriction, whatever, whenever, however much. That is recovery. And along with this is going with whatever it is, the weird things you're craving. I went through odd phases in recovery. There was definitely one where I really wanted, was it gingerbread men? I was obsessed with gingerbread men. Just ate gingerbread man, like just completely obsessed with them. Another one, I went through a phase of the co-op baguettes, and when I say phase, I mean, they featured both those things, and all these things featured in my recovery, but there were times where almost the idea of eating other things was like, oh, I just don't really want it. All I want is that thing. I just want baguette and baguette and baguette and more baguette and then more baguette. And I worried one, because I was like, oh my God, this isn't normal, is it? This can't be right. Should I trust my body? Because I was also getting those undertone messages and there's that doubt. And the other thing is, I also worried that this wasn't very good from the viewpoint of neural rewiring. I was like, I can't possibly be neurally rewiring if all I'm doing is just eating French baguette like all the time. Like that's not good for my recovery. And this is where, I've made a video on this in the past, that the foundation of neural rewiring is unrestricted eating, and that is honouring what your body's asking for, and it's sufficient and adequate intake. So if your body is asking for nothing but French baguette, that is what you need to be doing. And that is the foundation of neural rewiring. It is one of the crucial elements of it. So, as I say, baguette, I also went through a phase of sticky toffee pudding, through a phase of, Weetabix minis. Like, I literally just bought boxes and boxes and boxes of the things. And I remember maybe like several days in of this like constant craving for Weetabix minis, thinking, surely this cannot be, this must be a problem. This has turned into something, those sneaky eating disorder thoughts, trying to jump in and warp and distort and wheedle in through fear. And that I just had to be like, no, come back to my basic, listening to my body, trusting my hunger, staying in the now, trusting my body, honouring my hunger in the now. And you know what happened? I got through it by going through it. You can trust your body. It is okay. So, it's a really fairly short and simple message today, but it's one that I think is important, and I know that it's one that I needed to hear and wanted to hear a lot in recovery, that reassurance. So if there is any part of you at all that has been doubting this, has been doubting your body, has been questioning whether it's okay that you're only wanting this one thing and you're like completely obsessed with it, or you're just doubting whether is it okay that it's so unbalanced, listen to these words, listen to this message, and know that it's not just coming from my personal experience. This is coming from the recovery process, a body of evidence and a movement, because there are not just me that's done this, there's hundreds, if not thousands of people who have recovered, are recovering, listening to their bodies and taking this approach. So listen to this and then get yourself out of the learning phase by doing. You know what you need to be doing. You have all of the answers within you already. Your intuition is absolutely spot on. So don't keep going circling and circling looking for more and more reassurance. Listen to these words. Know that this is the truth. Your eating disorder's opinion is invalid. It is. That is the essence of recovery. Pissing your eating disorder off and accepting that its opinion is completely irrelevant to your recovery, and push forward with your action taking. Nothing changes if nothing changes, and you need to go through this to get through this. You can trust your brilliant body.